This is Group 15. My name is Guo Yang, and today we will present the evolution of China's new energy vehicle market. Here is the table of contents of our entire article. Let me start to introduce it to you. From 2018 to 2023, China's auto industry experienced a profound shift, driven by strong environmental policies, consumer preference, and government support. NEVs, new energy vehicles, went from niche to mainstream. By 2023, they accounted for over one-third of total car sales. Our research focused on four key questions. Question 1. How did the shift from fuel vehicles to new energy vehicle happen? Question 2. What role did domestic and foreign brands play? 3. What do consumer preferences reveal? 4. How did policy drive this shift? Our data comes from Kaggle and contains monthly Chinese auto sales data from 2018 to 2024. The data covers traditional and electric vehicles and is classified by model, type, price, and origin. This datasite helps us track growth patterns, brand competition, and policy effects. The chart shows a dramatic turning point in 2020. New energy vehicle sales surged while fuel vehicle sales declined. By 2023, NEV sales will exceed 7.75 million, up 36%, while fuel vehicle sales will fall 6%. EV penetration will rise from 5% in 2018 to 25.7% in 2023. In summary, China's NEV market has grown from the margins of the automotive industry to the center. Thanks to policy, technology, and consumer trust, NEVs are now the dominant growth driver. Here, our dashboard visually summarizes how China's vehicle market transformed from 2018 to 2023. It shows NEV sales rising sharply, fuel vehicles declining, and penetration rate increasing, clearly reflecting the shift toward an electric future. Thank you.
Hello, dear Professor. My name is Han Tong. I would like to share the major changes happening in China's car market. From 2018 to 2023, Chinese car brands have become more stronger. BYD is the best example. Its sales increased a lot, especially after 2021. After the same time, foreign brands like Toyota, Honda have lost market share. This shows that more and more Chinese customers are choosing local brands. There is also stronger competition between different Chinese brands such as Wuling, Geely, and Chang'an. This means the market is not only changing, it is becoming more competitive and more local. The rise of Chinese electrical vehicles is changing the power structure in the whole auto industry. Now let's look at the shift from traditional fuel cars to electrical vehicles. In 2018, only around 5% of cars sold were electrical, but by 2023, the share reached 35.7%, and it is still going up. This means electrical vehicles are no longer a small part of the market. They are becoming the main choices. In 2023, China sold over 7.75 million electrical vehicles, while fuel cars sold dropped below 14 million. Government policies like subsidy and free license plans helped these changes. Also, better batteries technology and more charging stations made people more willing to try electrical cars. Almost half of EVs sold were priced between 100,000 to 115,000 yuan. Another reason is innovation. Local companies more fast, launch new models quickly, and respond to customer need. To summarize, China's automobile industry is changing fast. Electrical vehicles are no longer just a future idea. They are already becoming the mainstream. Local brands like BYD.
I will talk about the competition between Chinese and international brands in the new energy vehicle market and whether there is a substitution trend. From the chart, we can see that in 2018 and 2019, international brands had the lead in Chinese EV market, but from 2020, Chinese brands started to grow quickly. By 2023, they controlled over 75% of total EV sales. The dashboard also supports this. The pie chart shows that Chinese brands had over 3/4 of the market in 2023. BYD, for example, sold over 2.5 million units, far ahead of Volkswagen and Toyota. Why did this happen? Because Chinese brands had cost advantages, faster local innovation, and strong policy support. Meanwhile, international brands lost share due to high costs and slower localization. 2021 was a turning point. From then on, Chinese brands become market leaders. In conclusion, the data clearly shows a substitution trend. Chinese brands are replacing international ones in the EV market. Thank you.
I want to talk about the new Indian car in China. From 2018 to 2024, more and more people in China are buying electric cars. The most popular types are sedans and SUV. Sedans are still number one, but SUV are growing fast. MPV are not very popular and have the lowest electric rate. We also looked at the three car brands, BYD, Tesla, and Wuling. BYD and Tesla are doing very well. Their price and goodwill help them sell more cars. Electric cars are growing faster after 2020. In 2024, about 35% of sedans are electric. SUV are close behind, but MPV are still under 12% electric. This means people like electric sedans and SUV, but not MPV yet. In short, SUV electric cars are leading the market now. People want cars that are smart, comfortable, and good quality. This shows that Chinese car market is changing fast.
Let's begin by examining the relationship between pricing and sales volume in China's EV market. As we can see from this bubble chart, BYD clearly dominates in the mid to low price range around 200,000, achieving the highest sales volume. This reflects its cost-effectiveness mass market strategy. Meanwhile, Wuling Motors targets the ultra-low-end segment, around 70,000, and still manages significant sales, especially in Type 3 and Type 4 cities. On the other hand, Tesla, priced at about 290,000, successfully captured the premier market with stable volume. Brands like NIO, Li Auto, and Zeekr position themselves in the high price zone but show more moderate sales, relying on tech-driven differentiation. This doubled chart illustrates the EV sales distribution by price segment in 2023. We can see that the 100,000 to 199,000 range dominates the market, accounting for 44% of total sales. This clearly reflects the mainstream demand for affordable EVs in China. Mid-range segment, including 200,000 to 299,000 and 3,000 to 399,000, follow closely with about 70% each, showing steady demand for more premium but still accessible models. Meanwhile, only 6.6% of sales came from EVs priced about 400,000, indicating that the high-end luxury segment remains very nice. Interestingly, 50% of EVs were sold below 100,000, highlighting the importance of budget-friendly models for Type 3 and Type 4 consumers. This tree map shows the price tier distribution of top 20 EV brands in 2023. As we can see, the 100,000 to 199 range dominates, with BYD taking up the largest space across almost all segments. This clearly reflects its aggressive, broad market pricing strategy. Other strong players in this range, including GEC, Aileen, Leapmotor, and Great Wall, all targeting cost-conscious consumers. Meanwhile, premium brands like Tesla, NIO, and Zeekr concentrates in the 399,000 and more than 400,000 segments, where they compete on tech and brand value despite small volumes. Notably, Li Auto appears in both mid and high price tiers, suggesting a dual market approach. This dashboard considers our key insights on EV price and sales. On the top left, the bubble chart again confirms BYD's dominance in the middle price segment with unmatched sale volume. The donut chart on top right shows that nearly 40% of EVs are sold in the 100,000 to 199,000 range. Highlight price sensitivity in consumer demand. Below that, the trend map illustrates how brands clustered by pricing BYD leads across all major segments, while brands like Tesla and NIO dominate the high-end niche. Finally, the bar chart at the bottom right breaks down BYD's sale by vehicle type, with SUVs and sedans being the strongest contributor to its total volume. This bar chart compares monthly EV sales by dominance and foreign brands throughout 2023. As shown, dominance brands consistently outperformed foreign competitors, especially in the second half of the year. In the question 3 and question 4, the gap widened significantly, showing growth in consumer performance for local manufacturers. December was the peak month, with Dominic EVs seller over 1.2 million units for exceeding foreign brands. This trend highlights the strong market advantage of Chinese EV makers in both volume and momentum. This chart compares the average EV price between domestic and foreign brands. As shown, foreign brands typically charge much higher price, averaging close to 280,000. In contrast, domestic brands maintain lower and more consistent pricing, around 170,000, which supports the cost-effective mass market approach. This pricing gap reflects two different strategies. Foreign brands focus on premium positioning, while domestic brands aim for affordability and wider market coverage. This chart highlights the top 10 EV brands in terms of total sales. Domestic brands dominate the list, with BYD far ahead of all competitors. Only Tesla and Volkswagen present foreign brands, showing limited presence in the Chinese EV market. Brands like Wuling, Li Auto, and SAIC further demonstrate the strong performance of local manufacturers. This indicates that domestic brands not only lead in volume but also succeed in reaching diverse consumer segments through competitive pricing and wide accessibility, both urban and rural areas. This dashboard summarizes key insights comparing domestic and foreign EV brands in 2023. On the left, the stacked bar chart shows that domestic brands consistently lead in monthly sales, especially in the second half of the year. On the top right, the price distribution plot reveals that foreign EVs are priced significantly higher. The bottom charts further confirm that domestic brands dominate both in market volume and preference among the top 10 sellers. BYD leads by a wide margin. Overall, this dashboard highlights the price performance advantage of domestic brands in the Chinese EV market. To conclude our analysis, we propose a set of targeted recommendations of different stakeholders in China's evolving EV market. First, for the government, with subsidies being phased out, is essential to maintain selective incentives like tax breaks and invest in EV charging infrastructure, especially in long-tier cities. Regulatory clarity and support for R&D in battery and small driving technology is also the key. Second, domestic automakers should double down on forward innovation, building strong brand identity and expanding globally, especially in emerging markets, will help sustain their lead. Third, international brands must localize better. They need to enter underserved price segment, form partnerships with Chinese firms, and shed the over-reliance on premier positioning. Lastly, for customers, choosing the right EV involves more than price. Factors like infrastructure's long-term cost of ownership and the vehicle functionality are increasingly important. Together, these strategies can drive a more inclusive, competitive, and sustainable EV future of China. This slide presents the key reference used in project, covering authoritative sources on China's NEV policies, consumer behavior, market competition, and data analysis. All materials were retrieved from reputable platforms such as CQVIP, Science Direct, Kaggle, and Sina France. That's all. Thank you to see my presentation.